You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We are just a couple days away from the 2024 NFL Draft, and the rumors are starting to be crazy. And it sounds like the New York Giants are very interested and are trying extremely hard to trade up into the top 3 to select their potential franchise quarterback. Let's break it down on today's show as Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show and said, quote, "The two teams that have expressed the most interest in moving up in round 1 have been the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants." Then Dianna Russini backdoored that report and said the New England Patriots are listening and taking calls from teams looking to move into number 3. While Eliot Wolf is running point, I'm told Patriots President Jonathan Kraft is heavily involved in the decision making. And here we go. Things are heating up. Adam Schefter reporting that the Giants and the Vikings are the two teams that are showing the most interest in trying to move inside the top 5. Then you have Dianna Russini pretty much saying that the New England Patriots are open for business. The Giants might just be getting a franchise quarterback. We'll talk more about that around the corner, but first I got to make sure everybody watching today's show is subscribed and has their notifications turned on and is going to join us Thursday live for day 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. We'll be live breaking it down, so subscribe, turn your notifications on, and I want to see you then. Alrighty, my first thought when I saw this report from Adam Schefter and then Dianna Russini talking about the possibility and really the availability that the Patriots have to moving down in the draft is, what are the Giants waiting for at this point? There's no need to wait anymore. And really, if you're trading to number 3, there's no need to wait at all. I get if you want to wait to move up to number 4 because you want to see who's on the clock, but we know Caleb Williams is going to go number 1. I believe that Jaden Daniels is going to go number 2, and Drake Maye is going to be available. Also, it was reported a couple of weeks ago from Jordan Hernan that the Giants really like Jaden Daniels. So whether you get Daniels or you get Maye, there's no need to wait. My point in saying that is, why hasn't it happened yet? And will it happen in the next couple of days? My overall thought on this is, you do whatever it takes to move up in the NFL draft to select Drake Maye. I've said it for months now on this channel. When you identify that there is a franchise quarterback, a franchise elevator, a guy that you want under center for the next 12 to 15 years in a draft, and you have to move up to get him, you do whatever it takes. This is a quarterback-driven league. That is where the success comes from. This is the Patrick Mahomes era. There's no more Rex Grossman and no more Trent Dilfer getting to the Super Bowl. Now you might say, well, what about Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy was pretty damn good in the playoffs, and he had a really good roster. Maybe the best roster in the NFL. Drake Maye, franchise quarterback, you do whatever it takes. I'm a huge fan of his. If you've watched this show, you know it at this point. He's my number 2 quarterback in this class, and I have him somewhere around my 5th or 6th best prospect in this class. 6'4", 230 pounds, and he's just 21 years old. That's one of my favorite things about him. There is still so much more tread on the tires. There is still so much more upward mobility when it comes to him becoming a better football player. Some of his pros and cons, he looks the part. Like when you create a quarterback and you adjust the sliders on the height and the weight, it's Drake Maye. His playmaking ability, one of the best in this class. I think he's got one of the most electric arms amongst the top quarterbacks, and he is a plus rusher, and he can make plays with his feet behind the line of scrimmage to attack downfield. Some cons. His pocket footwork, I think, needs a little bit of help. I think he's sometimes too quick to move out of the pocket. That's something that he can definitely work on. Has some accuracy concerns, especially throwing to the right side of the field. And I thought he struggled a little bit from hero ball in some spots last year. Not a lot of talent around him, had to do that. Overall, I got him as a top 5 grade as a player that I would take inside the top 5. You look at what he did the last 2 years as a Tar Heel, better in 2022 than he was in 2023. In 2022, he was the ACC Player of the Year, freshman All-American, first team All-ACC, ACC Rookie of the Year. 2023, second team All-ACC, led the ACC in passing, number 3 in the FBS in total offense per game. He is a special quarterback, and he would take the Giants to another level. And on top of that, when you line up the talent with the need, it also makes a lot of sense that he fits exactly what Brian Daboll wants to get from his quarterback. You look at where he operated and where he had success throwing the football last year on the football field. You see over the middle from 0 to 10 yards, 10 to 20 yards, and 20 yards plus, Drake Maye was on the money. From 0 to 10 yards over the middle, he completed 75 out of 90 passes. From 10 to 20 yards, he completed over 50% of his passes. Had an NFL QB rating of 116. And when he uncorks it over the middle at 20 plus yards, he was 19 of 32 for 6 touchdowns and a 117 QB rating. That's where you win in this league. Inside the numbers, inside the hashes. And at 6'4", with the ability to put some juice on the ball, he is going to succeed because the way he succeeded in college football is how you win football games on Sundays. I'm going to come up with some trade ideas in a second. But do you want the Giants to draft a QB in round 1? I'm always interested. After I do these videos, I go back and I look at the comments, and literally 50% it seems like want a quarterback. The other people don't. We're a couple days away. Get your final votes in. Do you want a QB in round 1? Type D for draft, type P for pass. Coming up next, I have 4 trade ideas that I think the Giants could make, 4 different trade packages to move inside the top 4 and select a freaking quarterback. That's what they need. This team needs a QB. What you need, though, is to get hooked up with our proud sponsor, Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the game. Check them out. Download the app and use that promo code ChatSports and get $20 off your first purchase. It's the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices drop as the events get closer. They always have these things. You can see the little yellow icon on the screen with the little lightning bolt. They call them flash deals. The app is letting you know that the price at this point is not going to get better than it ever has, and you need to take advantage of it. And it's not just NFL games. You can go to Yankees games. You can go to a Knicks playoff game, a concert, a theater event, a comedy show, and so much more. Game Time is my go-to ticketing app, and I promise you, if you give it a chance, it will become yours as well because you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. And the hook, when we're trying to buy tickets, no one wants to overpay for tickets. Let's be honest. Let's get the lowest price guaranteed. Do it with Game Time. Download the app, use the promo code ChatSports, and get $20 off. I'll make sure all that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. First thing I want to say is the Giants have done a lot of work on top quarterbacks. I believe that they have an interest in selecting a quarterback. Will they do it? I'm not so sure. I think whatever situation unfolds is the one they are going to roll with, and they've prepared themselves for multiple situations. We know the Giants place a very large importance on their top 30 visits. And guys that they've already had in for top 30 visits at the quarterback position are all the top ones in this draft, like Drake Maye, Jane Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, and Spencer Rattler. No Caleb Williams because there's no point because he is going #1 overall. And the Giants, they have selected players at a rate that is one of the highest in the NFL when it comes to players that have come in on top 30 visits. In the Joe Schoen era, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Cordell Flott, Dane Belton, DJ Davidson, Deonte Banks, John Michael Schmitz, Jalen Hyatt, and Trey Hawkins. All on top 30 visits in the last 2 years. 9 picks. So I'm not saying that just because you go on top 30 visit, you're getting picked, but you got a way more likely chance to do so if you have done that. Adam Schefter said this last week, and I wanted to circle back to this quote. With the new information that he said today, the Giants are in the top 2 when it comes to most active and trying to trade up. Couple that with this, where he said, again, I think if the right quarterback is there at 6, and I think that could be Drake Maye, then I think the Giants could potentially have some interest. I also think they have other needs. Joe Schoen has been very public about the fact that they have a lot of needs to address. So Schefter last week was talking about if a quarterback falls to them and it's Drake Maye. And now he's talking about the Giants are one of the most active teams in the NFL trying to trade up to #3 to select Drake Maye. Just trying to connect some dots here. It sounds like Drake Maye is the quarterback that the Giants have circled in red ink as the quarterback that they are willing to risk it all. And also sounds like Schefter has heard if he's there at 6, they are going to take him. I don't think he will be there. I don't think he gets past pick 3, and I would be utterly shocked if he gets picked past 4. So what do the Giants have to do? They got to trade up. Let's run through a series of different trade ideas. Everybody, I hope, knows about the NFL draft point chart. It assigns a point value for every single pick to try to come up with an overarching theme of what it takes to make trades in the NFL draft. But just because you reach that point total doesn't mean the other team's going to accept or has to accept. It just tries to make it to where it's an easier negotiating process. So let's strictly talk about point value match, where the Giants send out X amount of points and they get back X amount of points. That would be them getting the number 3 overall pick while sacrificing pick 6, pick 47, and a 2025 second round pick. Well, what if the Patriots are like, well, you're trading up for a quarterback, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. So what would be a slight overpay for the New York Giants? Pick 6, pick 70, and a 2025 first round pick. But then what if the Patriots say, well, we got the Vikings, and we got the Broncos, and we got the Raiders on the phone, and you got to beat them. Final chance to beat their offer. This would be an offer that you would have to make if you are trying to compete with someone. First round pick this year, second round pick this year, and first round pick this year. But then let's say the New England Patriots say, the Vikings just beat your offer, and we're 30 seconds away from having to make a decision. Give us your final offer. If you say, F it, we need Drake Maye, this is the furthest I would go, and I think this might actually be close to what it may be. First round this year, second round this year, first round next year, and second round next year. That's a lot. There is no doubt about it. But there's also no doubt about how I feel about getting a quarterback in this draft class. And I've said it for months. You do whatever it takes to move up if you have identified somebody as a franchise quarterback. If you have identified somebody in this draft class that can take this franchise to higher heights than anybody you have on this roster, you do whatever it takes. But if you do, Joe Schoen, it's a lot more costly for you than it is for me. You better be right. I think it is the right move to do it for Drake Maye. But you better be right. Because this is the type of move that if it fails, you're fired and you're maybe never a GM in the league again. But if it works, and Drake Maye is what a lot of us believe he can be, you are going to be selected and inducted into the New York Giants Ring of Honor. You will have your name on one of the rafters at MetLife Stadium. Because if you hit on this pick, that means Drake Maye is going to be one of the best QBs in the league. And you might just win a Super Bowl or two if that is the case. If you want the Giants to trade up for Drake Maye, hit that thumbs up icon for me. I want to do it. My number 1 dream scenario in this draft, trade up for Drake Maye. Number 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. falls to number 6. 3, trade up for Jaden Daniels. 4, you sit, you pick, and you make the selection of Malik Neighbors. And then my ultimate dream was still kind of drafting Joe Wall, but I've put that to bed because that's not going to happen. You want the dream to come true, hit that thumbs up icon. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that's tuned in. It's been a long, long draft process. We got to sleep Monday night. We got to sleep Tuesday night. We got to sleep Wednesday night. And then we're going to know who the Giants are going to be picking. 3 more sleeps, ladies and gentlemen. 3 more sleeps. Hit me up on social media, and let's go Big Blue.